What's up, everybody? Welcome back, man. It's your boy D Friend.
It's your boy B Neil. You hella echoey.
For real?
Oh, nah, you sound better now.
We're back in the episode. What's going on? What you doing? What you making faces for?
Yeah, you look echoey, bro.
Still?
Yeah, I don't know. It look muffly.
What about now?
Back up a little bit or something. I don't know. Cut down your what's the shit? Your gain. It sound like your gain too high.
Look, now I gotta restart the whole stream. We good now?
Yeah, we good. It ain't bad.
I'm about to say, as long as the people can hear me, it's all right. Let me know what it sounds like for the people.
Nah, yeah, you good now. It sound good now.
All right. Anyways, we're here back for another episode. We did the verses. I won the verses. We got another one coming up next week, probably Wednesday. Usher, Chris Brown, probably going to win that one as well. But, you know, it remains to be seen. We'll see if Bryce can redeem himself next Wednesday when it comes to that. But I ain't gonna lie. A lot of people, well, Darius after the fact, he did it. And if Darius was there watching live, he probably would have won, according to him. But I had another guy take me because I posted the statistics of it on, not the statistics, but I posted like 11-9 final tally, right? That's what it ended up being. He was like, it should have been 15-5. And I was like, 15-5, what way? He was like, Wayne ain't got nothing for Hov. And I was like, I don't think it would have been 15-5. That's a little, extreme. But I mean, he would have been on my side if he was there, obviously, watching live. So I got a big ass thing in my nose. But anyways, today is not about that. Today we got topics, discussions, everything like that. We're gonna do it later on tonight, but tonight is UFC 270, and I can't miss that shit. And gone Moreno versus Figueiredo. Like, I can't miss that shit. So we're doing the podcast now. Let's start with good things. We got any good things from the week?
No, not really. Ain't gonna count.
Nothing good happened in your life. That's it.
No, nothing happened. Chilling, big chilling.
All right, well, I got good shit. Everything's good with me. Kids are good. Family's good. Life's good. What else good? I had something happen. Oh, I'm setting up my new shit, getting all nice and set up, and new space in the back. So we good. What you doing?
Sound good. You sound better on the.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe you just tripping. Maybe it's your sound that's messed up. They got me sounding messed up. But anyways,
yeah.
Which one to get to first? We got a lot of topics. We will get to.
I think go ahead getting either the NBA YoungBoy or that Corday.
We ain't doing the NBA YoungBoy album. We talking about the NBA YoungBoy topic?
Yeah, topic.
We can do that because I think it's dumb shit, right? So NBA YoungBoy obviously is a part of, I guess you could say, a beef with Lil Durk, OTF. Obviously, King Von got killed by Quando Rondo's people, which is also tied to NBA YoungBoy. So there's that dynamic that they got going on, which I guess I get. But it always baffles me when you're like super wealthy. I don't say they're super wealthy, but they have a nice bit of money, and they still engage in the same type of games they did when they was still poor. This doesn't make any sense to me. Especially something like NBA YoungBoy who's on bail for a federal charge, and you're still trying to engage in this.
Think he clout chasing?
I don't think he needs to clout chase. So I wouldn't say he's.
Hey, a lot of people don't need to do a lot of shit, but sometimes, hey, bro, people.
I think he just does whatever he feels. I feel like he's not really mature enough to know, like, probably this isn't the best thing for me to be doing with my time. So he just is irrational and just does shit. So that's what he just does shit.
Did he have a legitimate reason to be doing this? From what I know, he didn't have no reasons.
I just know they got beef. Like, that's all it's like.
He got beef with them? Like, for what, though? Like,
I told you. They killed King Von, and they got their little.
Wait. The dude that killed King Von connected to NBA YoungBoy?
The dude that killed King Von is Lil Tim. Lil Tim is like best friend or whatever with Quando Rondo. Quando Rondo is signed to Give Me a Young Boy, so they're all.
Okay, okay, thank you.
And
I didn't
obviously
know.
King Von was signed to Dirk, so
Okay.
now the two big dogs are doing their thing.
Oh,
And
he's respectful then. He throwing salt on the wound.
yeah, pretty much throw us all the money. So he put a picture out, right? And it was like with money. It was like all you bitches gonna die, something like that, right? All you bitches gonna die. And it's in money, $100 bills. Then he did another one that said stay safe. So recently, Lil Durk, and people would assume he's responding to that, right? Let me see if I can find it real quick because I want to see what actually his money sculpture said when he posted. Is academics like shadow banned on fucking social media? Okay, here it is. Where's the Dirk shit at?
No, yeah, I know what's going on with your mic now though. When you talk normal, like it sounds fine. It's when you speak up. What the fuck that? It's that one setting. It's too high. So when you speak, it's like amplifying your voice too much. Like when you had to cut me down because I yell too much. It's not bad though, but I'm noticing it's way more clear when you talking low.
All right, so here it is. So Dirk responds. He says, "Hurry y'all bitch ass up," which I'm assuming was like a response to Young Boy saying y'all gonna die, stay safe, this and that. I think it's more stupid of NBA young boy to be partaking in things like this, right? Because you're on bail for a federal gun charge. They're already trying to
It's
tie.
idiotic.
They're trying to tie your entire label, whatever you want to call it. Let's call it a label into gang activity. So you're gonna amplify that by beefing with another guy, OTF, which probably they're probably being looked at by the FBI at some point. Because I feel like they're looking at anybody who has a label that has three letters on it and y'all represent shit or whatever. They're looking for you, or they're looking at you at least. I just don't get the point of amplifying because people on the internet love to blame like podcasters, bloggers for talking about these things, but it's like these guys are putting that out there openly for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think he knows what he's doing as far as like, I think it's a bit of trolling. Cause I mean, even when you make a song like about your dead ops, that's a form of trolling. It's ignorant. It's like the worst type of trolling. Like you might want to consider it something else, but I think at the end of the day, it's a form of trolling or like bad sportsmanship in the sense of you think of if that's the game they're playing. So I think he knows what he's doing as far as like it's gonna get him more clout. It's gonna get him like his fans liking him. It's gonna get everybody more riled up, which is like a big part of it. It's like, but I think for us, it'd be hard to realize are these people like masterminds behind this shit, or they just dumb? Like, are
Yeah.
they intentionally doing this shit because they know people eat this shit up? Like, do they know they eat this shit up, or do they just do it because they're like they just can't get out that game? Like, that'd be what I'd be trying to figure out with these people. Cause I be feeling like they're smart to certain degrees, but then I don't know.
I think it just adds to the. It's like we talk about, like selling shit. It's like you either got drama, you got romance, you got comedy, or you got whatever. And this is obviously the drama, violent part of the spectrum of entertainment because obviously something already happened, somebody already got killed, and who's to say that possibly, potentially, more people could die due to whatever they got going on between each other. Which at the end of the day is fucking stupid. Like we're fucking both millionaires. Do whatever the fuck you want to do. I get it. King Von got killed. I get it. I get it. You know, they're laughing about it. These guys laughing about it. But y'all laugh at people that get killed too. This is all a dumb fucking game. So at the end of the day, what do you want out of your life? Do you want to become a fucking multi-millionaire, longevity rapper, or do you want to keep on perpetuating the street persona, go to jail, or end up dead, and have it all taken away from you? Because both these guys, Lil Durk and NBA Youngboy, have multiple children, like 7 children each, I believe, something like that. So you would want to keep that money train, especially for your kids, going for a very long time.
So if I go to the question I asked earlier and say, well, they're ignorant and not doing it because they're smart. It's like, well, I mean, they got rich off this game and being ignorant. So in their mind, it's like if I keep doing it, I keep making money. Not let's make different moves. Let's go try to act. Let's just stay out of that form of the rap game. Let's just be let's just be a rapper. But
Yeah.
if they really ignorant, I think they can get caught up in like, bro, like I said, I just want to kind of allude to like the industry. I don't know if you've seen that little clip. I put a Kai Sense or whatever when he like did
Mm.
the little Bobby Smurdered little performance in the studio exec office, but it's like completely white execs, comb over hair, suit and tie, suit and but like super button up. It's like they give these dudes this money because they like, and that fucks their mind up too. So I think it's like it got to be cut off in two areas. They got to start with us and not like being able to criticize and not fucking with this shit long term. And then I think that makes the industry not wanting to fuck with it no more. And then the
Yeah.
rappers are not incentivized to fuck with it no more. I think because it's like I don't think they're gonna stop when they like getting paid to be ignorant. Like it's like
Yeah.
they're incentivized to do that. And then like once you get so much money, it's like why stop that? And even then, like don't you think them industry execs like we talked about before? You talk about how they, hey man, keep being ignorant. Your numbers are like, what old dude did? He tried to be spiritual, start talking about chakras and shit. NLE Chopper,
He
and
back to the street shit
like,
now.
hey, with sales going down, brother, get back to
He
being
went back to
ignorant.
the street shit.
And they get encouraged. They get encouraged to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a dangerous mindset.
I think he's still very popular, but I don't really hear people talk about his music a lot as much. But like a guy like Kevin Gates, kind of like I'm on my different type of time. Obviously, if you fuck
Oh,
with
I
me,
talk
it'll
about
be bad. But he on his spiritual shit. I be watching his wife's page. They said they moved out of LA. They went and bought them a farm. Like they doing shit people would want to do once you get a certain amount of money. Like you don't want to be around all the bullshit. You want to go be around good energy, live life, do this, do that. And he don't get talked about as much as before when he was like, Kevin Gates, whatever the fuck you want, whatever persona you want to throw on top of him. But it's not to say that you can't still have a street like persona, but I wouldn't be openly,
active.
actively beefing with people, especially when I'm under federal investigation. Like, that don't make no damn
It's
sense.
so asinine, bro. Like when I talk about a lot of shit that I just be seeing is like backwards, like where people being either being soft or like niggas doing shit like why are you bragging like Roddy Ricch? He's bragging about being jumped and it's like a public thing, like getting jumped in. Like, bro, you're not supposed to talk about none of this. Like, this is
Yeah,
not supposed to be a public conversation. You shouldn't even. I don't know if like was that his video of beating that dude up or those two dudes up. Was that public?
I've never seen it.
Oh, they was trying to make how he implied it's like, bro, you seen it, you
I
seen it.
think,
Like
I
it's
think he was saying this because that guy he was talking to, it's like say you right, you from
Mhm.
Fifth Ward, and you know a guy from Fifth Ward, and y'all be say there's a local park. And I don't know if there's a local park in Fifth Ward. Everybody maybe they play basketball, whatever the fuck, right? They lived in the same area, like motherfucker, because you a crib, I'm a
right.
crib, we do the same thing. You know what
But
the fuck going on?
so even if that's not public, but they're having that conversation publicly that he had with another crip, that's not gangster. Like that's almost the opposite. Like you're snitching on yourself. Like you making it so easy for your ops. You making it so easy for everybody, whoever wants to attack you. And I say the same. It's like these dudes that be on YouTube. They'll let people come in and film them, and they get on talking about their set, what they be doing on this block, how long they be up here. I'm like, well, nigga, the police don't have to do no investigating.
No investigation, no investigating.
And it's like I don't understand. Like these niggas like acting so hard, but like like this is it's like so opposite of gangster. Like and I don't understand. Like
Jay Z, Meek, and I think like Big Sean, a bunch of other rappers, like they came together to try to, I guess, block. There's a piece of
yeah, I seen that.
legislation so they can't use rap lyrics in court trials, something like that. But how about this, right? How about don't detail actual crimes like in your music? Like don't be a fucking idiot. Like you think they're gonna veto some shit? If they want to get you, they're gonna fucking get you. So they're not
Yeah,
gonna
like
take that out.
like even if they don't use that in a court, they're gonna use it to start. Hey, all right, well, he said he did this, and then let's investigate and let's find some evidence we can use. But they're still gonna use that. They're just not gonna use it in court. Like what? Like come on, like they're not idiots. Like you
I
gonna
thought
talk
it was
about
like
your
beating the dead.
whereabouts and what you did. They're gonna use that in the investigation and then actually find evidence, and you fry. It may make it a little more inconvenient, but
Yeah.
they're still gonna get you.
I think it's like it's just the mindset of it all is just so fucking stupid. Cause like, and I feel like I'm beating the what's it called, beating a dead horse or some shit like that. When I think of the extreme part of it, like the guys in Jacksonville, I just be like, y'all don't think the FBI field office in Jacksonville is fucking like y'all ain't got caught yet? Yeah, you don't think they're constantly monitoring you guys?
Who is that? Who is
The
that?
guys in Jacksonville got the song was like Prosper got shot, Tate got shot, this guy got shot. You don't think they're actively? You're discussing multiple people being murdered. You don't think that they're gonna like? Cause I can't name most people that have been murdered. I'm not saying that he did it himself, but people around you. I don't know. I can't name 50 people that's been murdered in just like in context like that. And then there's full blown YouTube documentaries about the beef between you and this guy's entire origin story. It's like,
People are if they can do that much investigating, how the fuck you think the cops ain't did it? They just building a bigger case so your ass never get out. But to
yeah,
me, I think they a lot of people or those type of idiots because they're spit like I get the Durkios and Vaughn, they kind of reference to shit. They don't actually give names to shit. So
yeah.
these niggas in Florida are doing even more. Like, and there's other people doing it in other places.
Well,
They're
they be naming niggas.
oh, they do.
He did. Like there was a big thing with Dirk naming like FBG Duck when he got killed. The guy, what's the guy's name they always fucking mention? Like Chief, I think Chief Keef was mentioned. I don't know, he was a young guy. I don't remember what his name was, but he's like
I
famous
know.
because of that. I don't know. I
I
forgot
know.
what his name is.
So yeah, they do that. So yeah, I guess they do the same thing. But it's like I think they got famous and they can other like they're so big like it's easy to be like that's just some other people doing the shit for them like these people bro like you ain't got that famous shit. I think it's easy for them to do that because they know they can get famous quick and they'll rather have that little fame and try to do whatever they can with it and then take whatever come with it. But I think they know. I think they know it's a dead end road, but fuck it. Like I mean,
Yeah,
shit, get in a gunfight every goddamn day. Like they either they going to jail or gonna die, and I think
yeah,
they well aware of that. And shit, they gonna live up their life and be a fucking savage until they go out, basically. So it makes sense why they are gloat and don't care about this shit. Because I mean, they reckless. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about life. Like they actively do shit that demonstrates that.
yeah. I mean, it's, like people be confused. Oh, why are more rappers, going to jail? Or why are more? Because they're more actively actually doing shit. Like they're actually committing crime. Like you don't think they're gonna fucking get caught eventually? Like they're actively committing crimes. A lot
And
of
the
rappers back in
crazy
the day, they probably maybe before they became rappers, but after they probably weren't still committing
and,
crimes.
and that's the thing. Like these niggas are basically kingpins because you're making money and like fun. Like bro, they're hitting y'all niggas with different shit.
Yeah,
Like you're not going to jail for some minor shit. Like you're going to jail for kingpin Rico shit, nigga. Like you was funneling money into a gang
the street
organization.
organization, all kind of shit.
Yeah, like they and I think and that's the funny part. Like once you get rich, you don't supposed to keep doing it. But them and they eyes, they like I could do it even more and better. Like I don't know. I feel like it's a lot of things wrong with these type of people that do this. I was trying to think of like an exact point, but like it's just so weird how they comfortable being that crazy to me, like being in that gun, like game big and lifestyle, and also having a choice to be like not having to fuck with it. Like you have the
That's
choice to
being
be,
rich, like
and it's so perplexing to me. It's like I feel like these people are so lost in like who they are, bro. Like, cause it's like I guess they don't see themselves outside of that gang life, but it's like it's so weird to me, bro. It's so weird to me, and it's like people look at King Von as being like, oh, he's this cool ultra street dude, young boy, this ultra street dude. But I look at these like broken hearted kids that need so much help and hugs. Just a bunch of hugs. These niggas need hugs because it's like it's no rational reason to think this lifestyle is cool. Your homeboy, people you care about, like die every day because of this dumbass lifestyle that you choose to like what and like for a King Von is even worse. You choose to amplify versus like you can do shit that help get your people out of that type of circumstances. So it's you're damn near a demon. You acting like a demon, bro, and like and that's what those honestly.
Like I get like I said, I can understand the perspective of people who are like possibly but still in it. Like, but I can understand that more, right? But I'm thinking once you get to a certain level and you start making like money and you don't really have to, partake in the things that you was making money before, whatever the fuck like that, you kind of like ease off of it. That's like you said, it's like this imagery, this style is what got me on. So we saw NLE Chopper, perfect example. I can't stop. Now I'm trying to create CMOS and I want to do this and I'm spiritual. And that's what the niggas say against making CMOS or something like that. I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual and this and that. And then now it's like, nah, fuck that. I'm back on my street shit. It's like, that's what sells. And is it their fault? Is it the fans' fault? Or is it the executive's fault? Or it's pretty much everybody in the pipeline?
It's everyone's fault. It's everyone's fault that deals with it. Everyone has some blame they can take. But for me, though, like, once you get a level of fame, once you get a level of success, you can take the risk. You can take the risk. Or you could just live a modest lifestyle.
Yeah.
But it's just they don't have that in them. I know that's because of a lot of education, but the fact that they have the option to at least find education, find other outlets, and they don't, and then they like help other people be more demon and like demonic and mischievous in the streets. Like you're a horrible person. Like you're worse than a drug dealer. Because I mean, a drug dealer's doing it to survive, but you have a legit way of surviving. You don't have to keep doing it. But yeah, you like, nah, fuck it. Like,
okay, I'm still gonna do it.
Like I'm low key, like, bro.
See, that's why I like people like Lil Baby, right? Like from everything we hear about him, what people say about him, like he's legit, whatever you want to call legit. Like, he's a legit street guy, whatever. But we don't actively see him. Like maybe people who live in Atlanta, there might be some behind the scenes shit that happened. Like allegedly, like some of his guys like beat up Offset a couple years ago. Like, but we're not actively seeing that shit. Like that's not what to me what pushes him to be great like he is. Right? It's just he makes good music. He seems like a cool dude, and people know he's from the street. But like he doesn't have to like pedal to the metal that shit like everybody else does. Everybody else at that level.
And I mean, I'm not gonna cast judgment, but it just shows the level of weakness of some people. Because it's like you could tell the labels no, or you can take a risk and make your own type of album, but you have to just make it good. But I think a lot of people like, nah, I don't want to take that risk. I'm gonna just keep doing what everybody else doing. But and then they end up becoming that actor that only takes those certain roles. Versus it's people whether it came from the comedic route or whatever route, they can jump in any different role. And they like, bro, I don't want to keep being the crackhead dude. But that one person, he kept being a villain, kept being a crackhead, and after 5-6 movies or shit, that's all we're gonna cast you as anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't take
typecasted now.
Yeah, and that's what it ended up becoming. Like, but somebody like the Baby or Lil Baby or almost any fucking black rapper is from the hood or struggle because we're fucking black in America. Like, so they decided to be more than their struggle and present themselves as more than that. So yeah, I think it's people that choose to be typecasted, and I mean you can't blame. Like, I want to blame the industry, of course, and I want to blame the people for like want to listen to it and making it easy for people to want to make money like that. But regardless of the fact, they're just an example of them being weak as a person. Like, well, for whatever reason it may be, I'm not going to judge, but it shows that weakness because there's so many other people that'll take that risk and being more than that hood person. Like, literally.
You see, when you had a drink championship, Kanye said, he's like, I'm a street guy, but you know what I did? I came in as a backpacking motherfucker, and hey, that's what the fuck. That's how I did it. Like I don't like listening to all that backpackety rapidy rap shit. I like listening to the street shit, but I was like, I'm gonna do this type of rap, and then look where it's gotten. A guy like I don't like even like a guy like Chance Rapper. Like when we think of Chicago, I guess everybody just blanket Chicago as the whole thing is like crazy. But I don't know where Chance the Rapper's from, so I'm not going to use him as an example. So never mind. So I don't know exactly
But I
where
get
in
what you're saying. I
Chicago
get what you're saying, though.
he's
I get
from.
what you're saying. He black in Chicago. Whether he had to deal with the cops or whatever, they profiling because they deal with the average other black people in the hood. So Chicago as a black person hard to live in, whether you live in a nice side of the community or not, because the
Yeah,
profiling. So I get what you're saying with that, the Chance the Rapper. But even with Chris Tucker with the typecasting, I, I love Friday. He became a cultural phenomenon. I'm not coming back in it. I'd rather go do some other shit that's gonna get me internationally known. That's
Rush
not gonna
Hour.
exactly. That's not gonna keep me basically bogged down to a certain role. And yeah, you got to commend somebody like that for taking a leap like that. For
Yeah.
The Rock not just sticking to wrestling, or Kevin Hart for not just being in the comedic roles. Like these are leaps that these people are taking. It shows these Kevin Hart. His dad was a crackhead, and his mom was a single mom that had to raise multiple kids. We all had to go through that. For
I
some
wish I
reason,
was. I wish I would.
had to go through that.
Maybe it's just the fact that because I'm trying to think. I'm like maybe just because they're young right now, right? Because I'm thinking of like I'm trying to think of older acts like a Snoop Dogg. Like when people be saying the same thing about Snoop Dogg when Snoop Dogg first came out, like he's fucking crazy. He's a millionaire. Why is he doing dumb shit? Why is he doing this? But he's had that time, 34, however the fuck old he is. I know he's not 30, but I'm saying how long he's been in the game, like 30 years. He's been able to grow into. I think if you don't grow into that, by the time you at least like if you've been in the game for 10 years and you still doing that or a long amount of time, then all right, I think that's just you. It's kind of dumb,
Yeah.
right? Because we with Snoop Dogg kind of out of that, and I guess we can because I'm not like really big on like the old like when did this person come into his own? And
Yeah, I know. I agree. I know.
when did Jay-Z become the Jay-Z that we know today? When did this person become? I don't know, but maybe just because they're young right now. Well, Lil Durk been rapping for like since TQ for them. That was like 2012.
Yeah.
He became super popular now, but I would assume within that time he was still making money. Chief be playing paintball, he be gaming, he just be trying to keep it copacetic with his life.
What's the nigga T Grizzly? Gaming, be chilling.
Gaming, chilling.
That nigga was in the trenches. That nigga was in the trenches of Detroit. Like
Offset, Offset was a Migos when he first was introduced to Migos. Offset was in jail, in and out of jail. Now I'm married. I do this. I wear weird clothes. I play the game, and that's how.
That's a good point. I will hope that, but a lot of times these dudes don't even get to make it to that age when they keep being like this hard on. But the only thing I argue that point is like, well, Lil Baby's young. The Baby's young, and Chris Tucker when he made that decision was young. Kevin Hart, I mean, he wasn't young when he did it, but shit, bro, it just I want to say. Yeah, that's the problem, but then I don't know. Did Suge Knight change?
Nah, Suge Knight still Suge Knight. He still Suge Knight. He didn't change.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm trying to like the people that don't.
He just ran somebody over like 3 years ago.
Yeah, people that change don't last long, so that's the problem.
Well, they end up just looking like old, weird. Like why are you like they look like that guy from YouTube, that Hassan Campbell guy like that.
Yeah,
just like what are you doing, bro? You're 45. Like chill out. Like that shit. Like the good. You sound like a nigga who used to be like, man, when I was a quarterback back in middle school, man, I was the greatest. Like, all right, bro, we get it. The times are over. They're done for. You're done for. It's not here no more.
yeah.
I just hope,
With time,
because like now, like after all that, right? He dropped his album. And his producer said like, "Young boy's going on a 6-month hiatus." It's like, so what's all that like for build up for your album? Like, I'm gonna use beef to build up for an album.
about that.
Now it's like I'm going on hiatus.
Prime time trolling for a little rollout. That's all that is. See, I knew he was smarter than. That's exactly what that is. Now I think it was.
It's still dumb because the feds ain't looking at it like the feds is taking it seriously. Like, okay, what the fuck y'all are going on here?
Yeah, and
so,
I mean, it still causing unnecessary beef. There's many ways to roll out, but yeah, I knew it was.
But think about like he didn't have to do that because last time he dropped the album, he was in prison with no rollout and still did Rule 40. So it's like you don't really have to do anything because you would be a young boy at this point. You don't have to do super promotion. You don't got to do the beef or promo. You don't have to do that. But like I said, I think for his fan base, it adds to the mystique of what he is. Oh damn, it's 4K trailer. You see people like there was literally a fan in the airport that ran up on NLE Choppa and was like, 4K Trey, and they got into a fight. I'm like, nigga, you not a young boy don't know you, nigga. Like I would never run up to Meek Mill and be like, OVO, bitch, what the fuck am I doing? Like what the fuck is that? I would never do that. They don't matter how much I fuck with Drake. I never OVO, bitch, like they gonna do shit like it's fucking stupid. Like what are you doing?
That's nasty. That's the
They fucking Trey. It's like what?
That's the most light skinned shit in the world.
OVO.
Oh, you know he emotional.
But that's the type of shit that this shit breeds. Like it's like it's like they Lord and Savior.
These niggas be worse than women. Niggas be worse than women. It's crazy. This world is really backwards. Cause women used to be the ones going crazy over these dudes and have the posters on the wall.
Oh, now it's you talking about the fan bases? Okay, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, but now it's like niggas would be chasing you down. Like how Justin Bieber had to run away from people. Like
it's like they talking about niggas. They be in the club like trying to get in the section with the niggas. Be groupie. Come to get a picture with you. Like nigga, back up. What are you doing? I get you a fan. Like I appreciate you being a fan, but.
As a man, bro, you weird, bro. When I seen Gabriella Gaces, I was like, "Oh shit, that's Fluffy." Like,
yeah, we like, "Oh shit, that's what's his name?" I was like,
when you seen Kenny from TNT, like you see famous people around, bro. Like it's cool. Oh shit, look at them living their life. Like
that was Pat. That nigga Fluffy down there, bro. He was tears.
Like,
they had that nigga doing the double screen. I said, "Damn." Yeah, they had double screen.
In his stand up, he got jokes about him getting abused by them all the time, and then we fucking see it in live action. That was fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
But now I'm about to say,
this is how people act when they see celebrities and shit like that, and they just be over it. It's like a part of their life. That's why people get so mad nowadays when you say like their favorite rapper's music isn't good, because like I said, it's kind of like politics. When you say Trump is racist or Trump is this or Democrats are this, it's like we put a person together that's like a piece of them. So like if I shit on a piece of them, they feel like it's an attack on them. It's good for you if you're the person that people feel like they're attached to. Like if you're a young boy and people feel like you're an attachment to them, that's great for him because you're gonna be loyal. If you Trump, that's great because you're gonna be loyal to him. But for the people, the psychology of it is like, what the fuck are you doing?
And that's what I was saying. Like a grown ass man, like bro, like I see another man, like I'm not about to go crazy. Like this nigga ain't about to give me money.
He ran down on NLE Chopper, like, and the girl was filming. It's like
niggas is like when you start to think about it, of course it's not a mass amount of people that lives like that, but it's a big majority of people that are like super fans, and it's kind of weird.
You seen that study? You seen that study? Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Whether it's sports, whether it's their artists, like bro, they'll be ready to they'll be ready to shame your ass. You talk bad about their favorite artist or something like that.
Let me see if I can share this real quick.
God.
Let's see if I can share this real quick. Is it share? Okay, here it goes. People who are obsessed with celebrity tend to score lower on measures of cognitive abilities. Cognitive performance is slightly reduced among those who with higher levels of celebrity worship, according to a new study published by BMC Psychology. Interest in the topic of celebrity worship spans almost 2 decades. From several studies over that period, research showed a weak to moderate tendency for those who showed the strongest admiration for their favorite celebrity to have lower cognitive skills using a variety of cognitive measures, explain study authors Lynn, Agnes, and Zalat in a joint statement to SciPost. However, most of these studies are not controlled for a variety of extraneous variables. The current study is not controlled for several possibly relevant variables. But still, there's 1,700 people. You're obsessed with celebrities. Your cognitive abilities may not be.
Hey,
That's
Hey, so
high.
don't get mad at Fresh and Fit when he says the pimp will be pimp world.
That
there's
shit was so
followers,
that shit is
there's
looking
followers,
so cringe.
and there's leaders. And
But
followers,
he's talking about relationships. He's not talking about life.
I think
They're
he's
talking
talking
about
about in life. I
no,
think
they're
he's
talking
talking
about
about
they're talking about relationships specifically in relationship
okay. Well,
context.
that what they're talking about is not an idea that's not their idea. This idea has been around before Red Pill and things like that. They use it just like everyone else for the most part. You can use it in relationships, but for the most part, it's pimp or be pimped in the world. And there's microcosms of that in relationships and in other
I think
dynamics as far
there's
as
different
business
ways.
and
I
things
guess
like
there's
that.
different ways of like Grant Cardone got a book called "Sell or Be Sold." Like you always either be you're selling something or you're being sold something. Like
That's more of the dynamic. It's not literally in that aspect relationship being pimp to be pimp, but the only reason I'm saying that is because there's leaders and followers tend not to have um like they said a cognitive function, a higher cognitive functioning than others. Leaders take a higher level of cognitive functioning because you have to be three-dimensional. You have to think for others, you have to think for yourself. You have to
yeah,
think ahead of things. So it's a reason why they may have a higher IQ than people that choose not to think for themselves and rather just follow others. So
yeah.
this is not something that's crazy to me, but I'm glad that people are now starting to admit that.
All right.
But no, I don't understand. I know for just to touch on the fresh and fit, I'm not sure about the pimp and be pimp thing in relationship aspects, but I know women do be big pimping in this world. They got a food nigga, not all women, but the
Yeah, I
modern
know what you
women
mean.
they got
There's
the
women
food
that
nigga,
yeah.
they got the nigga that just go on dates with, they got the dude that they have sex with, they got a stable of niggas how men used to have back in the day. They have 4 or 5 girls. That's how girls
Like
used to be.
what's that movie? What's that movie called with the dude who's like How to Be a Player? Where he woke up, he had this girl, then he met this girl, and he had the girl he did role play with, and he had the girl he did this with, and then he had the Jamaican. I don't know if she's Jamaican or whatever the fuck she was. He just had this little
Role
thing.
reverse now, and women, not all women, but some women had a desire to have multiple men, and
You know.
they be pimping. And usually, weak men, yes men, simp men, end up being with those type of women,
Yeah,
and then they be trying to
I like that episode with Flagrant 2 more than like the one like with Brittany Renner because I just feel like the Brittany Renner one that's like typically what they have on the show. Like I've always wanted to see them talk to like just regular like obviously like Andrew Schultz is famous, but like these are like regular guys that in their views is like I think that's how I typically feel. And also like I said in my video I made about it like maybe we look at it differently because like the Koch guy he's a Hebrew little girl 7 years. Andrew's married. The other guy's been married for 8 years. I've been with my girl for damn near 8 years. So like, it could. I mean, because we're not in the dating market, maybe it is a little bit different. But like, the way that
no.
they describe it, seems like is the dating market a fucking war zone right now or something? Like,
It's not just the dating market; it's also married men that are unhappy. So you fall
well, that's
into,
forever. Shit,
huh?
that's old. This married men been unhappy forever.
But that and they a lot of married men don't understand what they be getting into or don't know what's going on with their relationship. Fresh and fit also, like I talked about in my shit, they have a big demographic of married men that's divorced and unhappy. Um, you and like you said, Akash and Andrew, y'all fall in that demographic of being married, happy, and y'all been with y'all girl for a long time. So y'all don't
Yeah,
really have to deal with the modern woman like that because y'all have y'all relationship, y'all have a woman y'all in sync with. But
yeah,
also for Akash and Andrew, they are rich, so they don't have to deal with the most women that they deal with are going to be automatically submissive because they have a level of power and value that women gonna always respect. So
yeah,
they don't have to understand the average man battle with trying to keep a woman submissive or attracted to them. They don't have to worry about that. Their
yeah,
lifestyle is going to always be attractive. So for someone like Akash, fresh and fit, and their fan base may be like weird to them, but like that's really the average man that they're alluding to. But they'll call him like an incel or some shit like that. But
yeah.
honestly, I think a big demographic of Kevin Samuels,
So
fresh and
what's the
fit.
issue? Guys aren't able to have sex with girls, or guys aren't able to get girls to want to marry them? Because I
Um,
feel like guys be like fucking chick like I don't know. Like,
the
you know, little bars, you be seeing people, they be fucking and hooking up. I mean, they'll be fucking in the bars, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it really that hard to like sleep with girls nowadays?
I don't think so, but those men usually exist in like the 20% range, whether it's wealth, attraction of like just having a nice body, having charisma, money, something. They are up in that 20%. Most women are
I
attracted
mean,
to
that's
certain
just
type of men.
nature. It's like I said in my video. It's like I said in Lion King 2. You got the two black lions, right? You got Kovu, who's the young. You got the nice man. He's trying to marry Simba's daughter. And then you look at his brother. His brother ain't got no mane. He look fucking mangy as hell. Like,
Mm.
that's just select. Women are gonna
But
select the niggas that they think look
so
good. That's just like
so
life.
Fresh and Fit explains to them why they may miss out. 'Cause a lot of men go through life thinking, "Oh, all I have to do is gain some money." They don't think about working on themselves and other dimensions of themselves. They just think about the financial dimension. And once they go through all of their college and all this, and they like, why can't I keep a woman attracted to me? They don't understand that. So a lot of times they can't keep a woman happy, and either they get divorced or don't end up having sex, or they can't even get a woman to get that far down the road. But
Yeah,
or they know the woman's only there for the money because they got all this money, but they don't got no personality. So
yeah,
Fresh and Fit tell men to work on themselves. That's why it's Fresh and their name. Obviously, they don't have the best tools and the best methods all the time,
yeah,
but I think the ultimate rhetoric is to make yourself better and also to know what type of women to look for when you are ready to be
yeah.
able to get a wife. But
Because you
yeah,
really think about like just regular people. Most like let me show you. It's like when women walking around. Do they want to fuck with Kovu? Look at Kovu. He got the nice mane. He look good looking motherfucker. Oh, look at his brother. Like, what lioness is going to fuck with this nigga? Even if she don't even look that good. Kovu brother got to figure out how to get a fucking name. He's got to figure, like, look at Kovu. Kovu was like big boss status. He's the man. And then, his fucking brother looking crazy as hell. The girl don't want to fuck with this nigga. So I guess like what you're saying, it's more like I think it's less on the lady. Like you said, you got to work on. I mean, it could be both in the same thing, but
yeah.
some people got to work on themselves. Like if I was single, I gotta make a nice living, so I got that aspect kind of like maybe I got to work out a little bit more. Maybe okay, I got some money, but maybe I'm not like physically the most whatever the fuck you endearing. Like I don't look like fucking Cove. I look like fucking
At least long term, I
you know what
mean,
I'm saying? Whatever.
women don't judge men as much when it comes to body. They do judge men with body, but I mean, you get away with it. But long
Yeah.
term, yeah, I
As long as
mean,
you got like a little personality, you funny, you probably do
yeah,
something, you don't just look hideous, because I don't look hideous. A little bigger than, normal.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's definitely confidence that you can have about yourself. But most big dudes don't have confidence. Most like when we talk about the average big dude or the average man in general, like they don't have confidence when dealing with women. They may have confidence dealing with their friends, business, their job. They may know everything up and down about their job, but when it gets to a woman, they get soft and don't know how to deal with them.
And the big
And
men, you do see that confidence, you just know they got money. Because that's like they supplement that with the money.
but even then, that don't always work because you get the Jeff Bezos and Leo DiCaprio. That money only goes so far when it's a nigga that really got it all,
Yeah.
and he really shining and really charismatic and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's pointing out women nature and men nature, and I think what they do is hard to do. So sometimes they may come off a certain type of way, and I think it's easy to like cast them off as like idiots or incel like panderas and shit like that. And I
Cringe and
just
all whatever the fuck
yeah, and I just
adjective.
don't see it like that. I think that dark skinned dude, because like with the real argument, he was like, I don't get how um um you feel so comfortable saying you don't have the preferences and how you say you don't like the preferences. You don't like the Shaniquas, you don't like the ratchet women. I'm like, is that really a point? Like last time I checked, it's good not to like ratchet women and try to and want to deal with those type of women. Last time I checked, like I don't understand. But he was like, "How dare you talk about our sisters?" I'm like,
That
"What
was
you say
cringe.
to our
That was
sisters?"
cringe.
I,
When he
I
was
was like,
saying
"What?"
when he said talk about our sisters, I was like, that's a little cringe. like
Okay,
I,
thank you,
I
thank
get
you,
it.
thank
I
you.
get it. Like that was cringe. I was just like, our sister. Like, all right, dog, calm down. but like, this is how I look at this. Like, you can say. I feel like they could be allowed to say that, but it seemed like there was like they were making some like all black because like even when you listen to the second clip that came out, it was like mostly all black girls are annoying. This is Fresh. I was saying this is when they was talking to the girl and giving her a compliment. Like you're not like all black girls. Like what I'm saying, you're not like these black girls. So like I think the problem is when we cast it off. But like yeah, if you ask like 100 people like, hey, I'm gonna just show you a personality type, right? Most people be like, I don't want to fuck with that, right? And I think one person made a point that was like, y'all say y'all like white women, but y'all have white women that come on y'all show. They act quote unquote ratchet. Y'all kick them off, but y'all don't cast that same stereotype on them, or even the Latinos that
That's
come
not
on or
true.
whatever.
That's not true.
No, but she's saying as far as like y'all aren't saying that's not y'all's preference because that black girls are ratchet this, but y'all are still open to dating white girls, open to dating Latinos, even though y'all have girls that
And they
come on
open
y'all
to dating
show.
black girls too.
But they say that, but they say I would rather not. That's what they say. Of course they're
And
gonna
they
say, yeah,
talk
I date a
about
black girl.
and they talk about not wanting to date the certain type of Latin women too. Like they'll fuck them, like, but they not dating them. They're being honest. Like, and they've talked about it. The women they talk about how their behavior is deplorable and should be checked. Then whether it's
But the weird
women or
thing is
other
them is like
women,
what I've been Priest talked about. It's like, but y'all want those type of women. Like these are the
huh?
women y'all been to the club. Like y'all want those type of women. Like the women y'all are around all the time. The women y'all
That's
are
fine. That's
dating and
fine. I
mingling.
mean, they
It's
want to
just
have
weird to
fun. They
tell. It's
young
just
men.
weird.
Hey, young men that want to have fun. We know every man know there's a difference between what you want to fuck and what you want to wife. Don't act like we don't understand that now. Yes, this nigga could go
I don't
do
think I
that.
want to fuck a ratchet chick. If I ain't like ratchet chicks, I don't think I want to do nothing with them at all.
Okay, so that's one thing I also wanted to say. Even when they talk about black women and not when they talk about black women in the majority, I don't think they talk about ratchet. I think they talk about more of the independent. I don't need a man archetype. That is more in the black women than you'll get in Latin women, and white women have it a lot. It's like 50%, and then like Latin women, it's like 30-40% of them that got it in them. That independent woman.
Well, that's
Black
just
women,
cultural,
ex-
historical that lead to that.
exactly. So that's when they talk about marriage and taking women seriously. They're like, I probably won't date a black woman. And if you are a submissive black woman, you're most likely different than the other black women because they're preaching that independent woman shit. That's just facts. That's just facts. Most women preach that independent shit till they blue. I don't need a man, all that. So that
They marketing for men who aren't out here dealing with women. That's how they make money.
I mean, is that a problem? What's wrong with that? Those men need help. They seeking guidance. Every man, every man don't have all the tools in the book to be able to just deal with women. And there's nothing wrong with seeking guidance. That's not lame. It's like anything in life that you have a problem with and you need help with, you get guidance from. But for some reason, when you research relationships or when you research how to talk to women, how to deal with women, you become lame. But nigga, how else you gonna figure it out without no one teaching you or giving you that experience? Back in the day, or some people have nowadays have the luxury of it being passed down to you by a brother, father, uncle, barbershop, but everybody don't have that. Everybody don't have that. And even sometimes people have fathers in their life, they be spineless. They be yes men to they wives. And like, they basically everything they wife do, they say, fuck it, I'm not gonna argue. Happy wife, happy life. So they really ain't have a real father in the house to say, hey, makes like stern decisions. So we kind of been removed. Like we said, we as America, we've been getting softer, like as men in general. And I've been feeling like the roles have been reversed, and there's plenty of evidence out there that we allude to almost every podcast where we can see roles getting reversed. So
As
yeah,
far
I don't
as
think there's
what?
nothing wrong with women being more masculine and men being more feminine.
Mm,
Men starting to be more in tune with their feelings and women being more aggressive and shit dominant. Like, and that's the program, and they want softer men. While they preach to women to be harder, to go get it, to go fight an army. When you talk about the movies and the media and propaganda and stuff like that, so yeah, women getting harder, men getting softer, and it's you get that. I see it every day, honestly. But a lot of men that's not. I mean, not a lot of men, but it's a good majority of men that obviously living their life are 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 self confident, and those usually men fall in the 20%, and they don't have to deal with the fresh and fit or what the average fresh and fit demographic have to deal with. And that's like me. I don't have the average problem what fresh and fit deals with, but for me, I do like to understand women nature. And when you get that live interaction, like Patrice O'Neal used to do it with over the phone or whether it was in studio interviews that girls that come in. That live to live interaction shows you the nature of men and women so well. And same with Kevin Samuels, they do it over the phone and whatnot. Now he's doing some in person ones. And same for Fresh and Fit. It shows the nature, which that's what I watch it more. I don't really need their teaching. I have my own thoughts and form my own opinions on these things and these topics already. Like I've been thinking about these things way before Fresh and Fit even came onto the scope of things. But yeah, that's why I like Fresh and Fit.
I'm saying to say that's why they do what they do and why they don't want to change their formula. For the people that question why Fresh and Fit format their podcast, I mean, yeah, I talked about that. I'm like, there's no point in changing your formula if you like, if your fans ain't fucking pushing you to change shit. Like, there was like an interview when they was telling them stuff and they was like, everything they would say, but I disagree. Like, they're not going to change. Maybe they do strongly believe what they believe. That could be also
But
the case.
what he was trying to make them to apologize on was like saying that you have a preference on not wanting to date ratchet women. Like that's not.
Well, not even that part. Even though it's the parts of like some of the wording of certain things, like certain outlooks. It's like, I mean, they talked about the clip, but then they also talked about like other things, relationship and shit like that.
The simp, the pimp. I seen, but all that stuff is like that's common rhetoric in the red pill community. So you're basically telling the red pill community to censor themselves and how they have certain conversations around certain topics. You may not understand the in-depth conversations around these topics. You may know the shallow surface level of what these certain stereotypical quotes or whatever it may be, but there's a rhetoric that we have around those quotes. Like just like any other community, they have a lingo how they talk about things, but that don't mean like the literal thing of that, or that don't mean they hate these people or whatnot. They just have a way they talk about things personally, and people don't get offended. That's just how we talk. But you know, you can't censor everybody, and it's not Fresh and Fit is not the originators of anything that they say, and that's not a knock to them because I mean that's who. No one's really originated of anything. Yeah. When we talk about
all thoughts have already been probably thought and spit out. Like it's not like
exactly. But Fresh and Fit regurgitating what many men have said in closed doors and even on YouTube before them. So they're no different. They're no different, bro.
That's why I said. That's why I kind of wanted to make the point of like maybe a guy like me or like I said like Akash or Andrew speaking about it as far as because like we're married, so obviously all that shit they say is kind of like. Like, I didn't have to go through this fucking war zone, battlefield, fucking. She gonna do this. Like, I was just like, hey, I like you, you like me. It was like a formula I had to think about. I didn't have to think, like, is she gonna do this to me? But also, everybody's different. Everybody thinks about things differently. Like, I had a guy in the change, they say, Myron's type of guy just wants women to bow down to him. But, like, what I said to that comment was, you also have to look at the culture of someone like Myron, like he said, he's from Sudan, and over there in the Middle East, that's kind of how women be in the Middle East. Like that's how they, you gotta look at it culturally as well. How people, because you ain't gonna tell a motherfucker that live in the Middle East and try to bring him over here, like, no, you can't do it to your wife. You're like, motherfucker, that's how we do shit in the Middle East. So that y'all do it differently over here, but over there, this is how we do it.
Andrew Schultz he labeled it perfectly and said like, "What is our preferences?" And he was like, "If I'm a tentative dude, I may want an aggressive woman because when we go out, she can handle things. Or when it comes to the initial engagement, she came up to me. I didn't have to go up to her because I don't like doing that. I'm tentative. I'm shy. So you might want an aggressive woman. If you're an aggressive and controlling dude, you may want a soft and feminine girl because you don't want to keep battling with that. So a lot of things I think it's more than just the battlefield of relationships. It's understanding dynamics of relationships. It's understanding what women want, what men want, and understanding, okay, well, I could work on myself in that way, so I make sure I never have to worry about that. Like it's not always about the worst case scenario and all women are bad and it's just battle and you just got to make sure you get in the guts and all, like that's a part of it. That's a part of it. But there's so many levels when it comes to teaching and who you talking to. Like Fresh and Fit have they go on 5 days a week. Like there's many different like people and
and
they talk to on a daily. But yeah,
it's hard for me to like when I talked about things. I typically talk about things from like how it looks like in the historical. Like okay, Shaniqua was gonna say okay, look like y'all are presenting the stereotypical the black woman, right? But then I also think about like I do a show every day. When you do a show every day, it's not too hard for some people to find things that you say on a show every day that you could just be like, look what he said. It's like, well, yeah, I said that 2 months ago. I don't even believe it anymore. Like, it's plenty of shit I probably said last year in November that now I probably don't even think the same anymore. But people will probably pull it up like, look what he said about this. It's like, when you do a show every day, you're gonna say some shit that isn't.
Yeah, I mean, people watch our show. I'm pretty, bro. I know people watch me and be like, he say some crazy shit, and me, I be justified and believe it full heartedly. But I know people look at me crazy when I say certain shit. At this point, I don't even bat an eye to even think about it. But I know people think I say or certain things I do are weird. Like
Yeah,
it's just life. Like it's just
yeah,
you can't control that. It's gonna always be something that like don't please everyone. Like it's just a part of it. But man, I think people overreact. People just trying to get them canceled, and they was trying to make it seem like they was talking about all black women ain't shit, and and I think they just tried to run with it. But and even with the Brittany Renner, like they tried to make it seem like she just crushed them in a debate.
you can't
And
control
at the
that.
end of the day,
Oh shit, that's live. I didn't know you go live on Facebook.
so you see me live.
Yeah, it's live right now.
So yeah, that's what I was trying to show you. Like it's something that I connect to when I first came in. It's on. It should be live on Twitter too.
Hey, that's live. Well, literally.
Literally.
Literally. I don't think I can
But
see it on Facebook. I mean, on Twitter.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it popped up on there.
My bad for getting off track, guys. Because I do want to talk about the censorship shit because oh yeah, it's live on Facebook right now too. And it's live. Let me retweet that shit. Anyways, like I was saying, that just goes into like my thing is like I don't think that you should cancel it because the one guy was like, you just want to partake in cancel culture. I don't think what they're saying is like so detrimental. Oh my god, the world's gonna get these guys off the internet. Like I don't give a fuck. Like people put out content to be talked about to create conversation. We're just creating conversation around certain content, right? If you want to cancel them, I would say before you cancel them, debate them. If you think your ideas are better than their ideas, then go on their show and then combat their ideas with your ideas. That's where you get the fine line of like, okay, what ideas are actually the best ideas to go with? Even if nobody changed their mind, we were able to see two ideas go at each other. That's why when we see that now, at first it was 270 doctors that were telling Spotify to tamper down Joe Rogan or put alerts around Joe Rogan's podcast, like, oh, possible misinformation here, whatever the fuck they're trying to do. Instead of talking shit about the mRNA doctor, Dr. Robert Malone, how about you just, hey, we'll have Fauci come on Rogan, and we'll have Malone come on Rogan and let them to discuss COVID, and let everybody just see. Like, let's just look at it. Let's just watch. Let's see what happens. But if not do that, they're gonna censor him, get him off there. So when I see that, rather than just having communication, it makes a person like me, I don't know about everybody else, but I kind of side eye of shit. And that's why I said I like Mark Lamont Hill's show that he does it's on YouTube. I don't know like the channel, I think it's like Black News Channel or something like that, but they have a YouTube channel. What he does is I see a problem and say critical race theory, right? I don't agree with that. I think they're using it as a boogeyman, whatever. I'll bring on the main guy that is pushing the critical race theory, whatever, and we'll have a discussion about it. It ain't no rah-rah shit. It ain't no I'ma just name call shit. It's like, this is your belief. This is what I believe. And then let the people decide what they think is the, you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
That would be a good world, but most people know that they don't have they couldn't last in the debate. What you rolling up over there?
No, I was scratching something off my my laptop.
I got PTSD. I'm like, that nigga roll.
No, I was scratching something off my laptop.
But yeah, those people are scared and terrified to debate and have real dialogue because they don't have anything. They don't have depth. They don't have the capacities, big fella.
You have the facilities for that, big man.
I think Tim Pool highlighted it perfectly. He was like, conservatives, they welcome the debate. Liberals, they try to counsel you. And that's the truth. But it shows when someone rushes to do that, it shows that they don't have that. Because let's be real. Even if this person was legit in what they're talking about, if you were your outlet and you spoke up, bro, you shouldn't be worried about them because you know that the truth will prevail. But they don't have that confidence in what they talk about because they know it ain't true. Like it's so flawed, bro. And I think real people start to realize that shit, and to even kind of jump into another topic or kind of mingle both topics together, like CNN 90 down 90% or 70%
Oh, before
viewership.
I guess this ties into that, right? And this has to do with like the combating information thing. It's like the thing with COVID is so like it's unknown every time a new thing comes. Like we don't really know what it's going to do. Like is it going to ravage people? Is there going to be a certain amount of people that die? Is it going to be whatever? So they are able to pump out certain information and tear down other information. But then you can go back and be like, oh, so that is what was going on. So like during Delta, right? People's on this whole like natural immunity is stronger than the vaccine. Natural immunity is this and that. And the big media, people was like, that's not true. That's a conspiracy theory. But now, according to the CDC, prior COVID infection more protective than vaccine during the Delta surge. It's like now, it's like, oh, you can say that it's already over with now. But while it was ongoing, it was like, no, y'all can't even talk about that. But then when it's over, it's kind of like, oh, let's put this information out now for them to, even though there was people that were saying it around that time, but what they were doing, those people was discrediting those people. They're calling them conspiracy theorists. But then now we can just be like, oh, that was what was going on at the time. So like that's what that brings to what you said about CNN dropping by 90%. Because people think you're lying to them. What do you expect? It's like
So happy to see shit
I'm
like
a drop as a news organization. I'm gonna continue to watch you because they think they're being lied to. And they can blame like new media, conservative, whatever. It's like, bro, you're putting out the content. And then you're being found out to lie 2 months later. It's like, is that on them or is that on you? That's why it was interesting to see whenever the whole like when Fauci went on, I forgot what show, I don't know, it was MSNBC, if it was CNN or whatever it was, and he was discussing that how they rank hospitalizations for COVID. And they said, oh, well, if a kid comes in with a broken arm, but doesn't have any symptoms of COVID, but we still test, and he ends up having COVID, count as a hospitalization. I seen people on CNN, they started to be like, why are we count? We can't count things like that. Like, y'all probably knew that how they was counting shit. Don't try to act surprised now. So that's why you see a 90%
acting like they didn't know that niggas was incentivized.
Yeah, like there was good people getting paid. Like these are conspiracy. Like these are things you can go look and see.
Almost everything up. You remember when we talked about Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion, how they like the industry kind of probably already figured some shit out way before we did. That shit even tenfold in politics. With Fauci lying, that shit already been in the air. Like these people be knowing this shit already, but they know what's the agenda. Whoever the high up that holds all the puppet hands or whatever, the nigga drops some shit down. As long as it say COVID, you keep talking about motherfucking COVID. Now all of a sudden they saying let's not talk about COVID. That's because we probably about to transition into a new fucking topic that's about to take over the national media. So
now it's voting rights. Now it's like, hey, look, we can't pass voting rights. And they're saying now, like, if the Democrats lose in November, it's because they wouldn't pass voting rights. Not because we fumbled the entire COVID response after Trump was president.
Joe Biden.
That's actually everybody saying that. Like, I think Kamala said that. They're just saying that. Like, if we lose the House or we lose the Senate,
What's crazy about that is y'all literally was talking about how Trump was when he was talking about it. Like that wasn't a problem.
Yeah,
like when he mentioned the shit, like it would be a legitimate election or whatever. Now they're trying to say the same shit, but like literally less than a year ago, basically, you were saying the same shit was fraud and wasn't true.
Well, the difference is Trump shit was like, what was he saying? He was saying like there was like mail-in voter fraud and certain things like that, and their thing is they have a bill that they want to pass. These bills be big as hell, so I mean I don't know what's like detailed in them. But like from what I've seen, some of the laws in some states are kind of stupid to me. It's like, why are y'all making that a thing? Like I think I saw one thing was like you could get a ticket or you can get arrested if you're seen like handing out water and food at voting lines and things like that. Like that's kind of like what's the point of that? Are you trying to like because people don't wait there all fucking day? And also another one is like we should make election day a national holiday so people don't have to worry about going to work. You just if you want to vote, you go vote. You don't got to worry about trying to take off time, whatever. So pretty much Democrats are trying
Neither one of
to
those will make it illegitimate because that affect Democrats and Republicans evenly.
you know. But I think they're not saying that Republicans are scared that the more people that are able to come out and vote because they're really talking about like minority group areas, right? They're saying like minorities don't have the ability to vote because they got to work all day, they don't have time to go take off or whatever, or they don't have like in like certain urban cities for some reason the lines are very long in urban cities. Like when I voted last time, I voted in the last election, whatever last 2020. I went to like a little church that's by my mama house. This is where it said you had to vote at, so that's where I went. I was like, it was like middle of the day on the election day. I was like in and out, like boom, boom. But then you look on the TV, you see people, I've been waiting in line for 4 hours. Like, maybe we should set up a system to where this probably doesn't take people 4 hours to fucking vote. But it's a lot of different, and also there's other things in there like that I don't agree with. Like, hey, we should let illegal immigrants vote. And it's like, well, it's kind of like saying that I'm gonna vote for something at a school that I don't really get to partake in. So it's kind of like, why would you do that? But I feel like they're pushing that because they believe in their mind that if we let illegal immigrants vote, they'll vote for us. I think that's what they think. Because if they thought that they were going to vote for Republicans, they wouldn't be pushing it.
Yeah.
But they think they're going to vote for Democrats, so they're like, yeah, let's push that. So it's all a big debacle at the end of the day when it comes to stuff like that. But that's going to be the new thing. I feel like, because even in the UK, like UK, I think like is dropping restrictions or something like that. Let me look at that. Because they're realizing that the COVID shit's kind of like after Omicron is kind of dying down.
They realizing people ain't buying into this shit no more. That's what it is.
So England is about to drop virtually all anti-COVID restrictions. Most legal restrictions to prevent the spread of coronavirus in England will be dropped next week. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson told the British Parliament on Wednesday. From Monday, face masks will no longer be mandatory anywhere in England. Our scientists believe it is likely that Omicron wave has now peaked nationally, Johnson said, attributing the end of their most recent COVID-19 surge to the extraordinary vaccine booster campaign, together with the way the public had responded to the restrictions brought in when Omicron hit. The restrictions being lifted on Monday in England were some of the least stringent imposed across Europe to counter the Omicron wave. They include a requirement for face masks to be worn in crowded indoor spaces, mandatory COVID-19 passes which show vaccination status or a recent negative test to enter large venues, and guidance to work from home where possible.
This is a joke.
So,
literally 3 weeks ago, it was at an all-time high. Get the fuck out of here. Media is so fucking funny, bro. Like, if you know anything about science, this shit is bullshit. All of a sudden, we're just dropping everything because we forecasted. We can see the curve change. Like, nigga, this ain't weather, nigga.
Well, you can statistically, you can see it drop. Like, you can see the decline. If you look at the numbers of it, what's that? Oh, that's my phone. I thought something popped up.
I can understand that, but
like if one day you have or 1 week you have 2 million cases, right, and the next week you see like we've tested. Oh, now this week we have 5,000. Oh, it's going down. Like we can see the chart of it. But my thing is, all the stats that was coming about Omicron when it first hit, it was showing that that's how it was going to be. But like if you look at the South Africa study, like South Africa peaked fast because it spread fast, and then it dropped with very low amount of deaths. So why when y'all see that study, do y'all think that's going to be crazy, like crazier over here if it's the same virus that was over there? That's where you kind of get like, what's going on?
My point of talking about the science is like, so at the precautions that you made, everything has stopped. All right. So now you're gonna stop all your precautions and assume everything's just gonna go back to like stay the same. Like if we was really talking about science, you wouldn't do that because you don't really know this virus yet. Like you still don't technically know it or whatnot. But I just really wanted to say this. Hey, just like Antonio Brown, conspiracy theories seem to always be right. It's a bullshit about this shit. But I'm just, to me, it makes no fucking sense, and it never really have like the big problem about it. But clearly how we could just drop it all of a sudden. We ain't got to worry about this no more.
Or do we? I don't know what that means.
I never thought we had to worry about it because, like you said, that natural immunity thing, they didn't just find that out. That's been a thing. That's been natural. That's been what the science has been talking about. Natural immunity, herd immunity, and then people that may already be immune because they have a healthy immune system, or not as susceptible to bad symptoms because they have a healthy immune system. That's already been in like if you know the body, you know that. It never really was a problem, but it's for a select few people, and it's always going to be a problem.
I'm interested to see how, because like the CEO of Pfizer was saying like a couple weeks ago that in March they're going to drop the new Omicron like booster. It's like, are people going to be amped to go take that? Like, are they going to try to make another push for it? Because like at this point, I don't feel like people are really. I feel like how the flu would run through everybody and then you won't hear about it until probably next time. Like, I'm not saying there's never going to be a coronavirus surge again, but if it's never going to be as deadly, and it's never going to be as deadly, it's kind of like, all right, let's start going back to normal. Like I saw in New York. What happened in New York? They was traveling into a museum, a family. And they arrested, detained, I don't know if they like took them to jail, fingerprint and shit like that, but they detained the family with a 9-year-old trying to just go to the gym. I mean, not the gym, the museum. Because I guess they didn't have their COVID, whatever, vaccine card or whatever the hell it is. Like, they're like, bro.
They did all this to push vax cards. They did all this shit to push this shit. It's something else about to go on. I know that for a fact. Well, it's about to be a war about to pop off. I've been seeing shit like that with Russia and China talking about getting into some shit.
China talking about getting into Taiwan. Russia trying to go into Russia, trying to go into Ukraine. It's like it's a lot of.
They said with how they looking at the.
North Korea starting their missile testing back out, and I think there's been that Russia and China were. Stalling the U.S. trying to put sanctions on North Korea because I ain't gonna lie, if North Korea, China, and Russia link up, that's a.
They still wouldn't have the forces to fuck with us, but that's just.
I mean, but that's still a unit though. Like three of them.
If we're just gonna nuke each other, but if it come to actual.
If it come to warfare, I don't think nobody can fuck with us. Like we got the planes, we got the sea, we got the air, we got everything.
Bro. If you look at America basis, and if you look at how much America spends on military compared to everybody else, nigga, you could combine everybody else and it still wouldn't fuck with how much America spend on military shit. Like, bro, when it come to planes, boats, ships,
I think that's right now though. That's I think. I think China
soldiers and Russia will have more soldiers than us, but like.
But I think that's why China. That's why I think China's playing a long game. We sitting here at home arguing about pronouns and whatever the hell we arguing about here. They play. That's why I read a study the other day that China, the investment China's pretty much investing a lot of money in Africa, right? So they're like cultivating Africa, trying to grow Africa, but also. When I'm giving Africa a lot of money, that means that I'm not saying China has ownership of Africa, but, they're in Africa. Now, they're giving a lot of money to development in South America. So, what does that mean? Oh, China is closer to, us now. Maybe they start putting bases in China.
Bro, we was literally in their waters and their seas, and that was a whole thing 2 years ago. Building where they said we weren't gonna be like coast of Taiwan or something like that. Bro, America, if you look at America bases, we surround every country.
Yeah, we all over the world.
But and then the long game, what you were talking about with American people, American government want American people to be dumb. They want us to be arguing chaotic. They don't care about. They want us to be talking about gender pronouns and shit and not actual politics and military problems. Like, trust me, that's where they want our mind at. They ain't tripping on that at all. Like, that ain't going to be what kill America. But, it would be a problem. But one thing I was going to add, they were saying...
Yeah, I saw like a bunch of Chinese billionaires are buying a bunch of land in America. Like, there was a Chinese billionaire who was trying to buy, like, a big solar farm or something in Texas. They was like, hell no, we ain't letting you buy that shit in Texas. I forgot what it was. It was like a solar farm they was trying to buy with a lot of land. They said no.
Yeah, I would say American government know how to watch this shit. But even then, they saying with Joe Biden being in office, it's more likely that all this shit pop off because you know how Democrats are advocates for war, um, even more than Republicans. So and shit, that's the truth, bro. Joe Biden is definitely a warmonger. Well, Democrats, I should say, the Democratic Party. So I think it's possible.
Yeah,
I
see,
think it's
look, here it
possible.
is. Rep. Roy, this was last year. Rep. Roy introduces legislation to bar China from buying. Texas introducing America's Land from Foreign Interference Act to prevent the Chinese Communist Party from owning land in the United States. In their quest for global domination, China has been buying up land and strategic infrastructure all over the world and in the United States. Direct Chinese investment in the U.S. economy is a major threat to the American way of life and requires that we take serious
Thank
action
you.
to thwart the Chinese Communist Party from ever
This
seizing control strategic valuable domestic assets in the United States.
whether they doing this or not, this is just propaganda to be like, hey, China is gearing up to start this war. That so when America ready to go to war with China or whoever the fuck we need to go to war with, that we have enough reasonings and justified, basically got the people amped up enough to be like, we're being attacked. This shit ain't nothing because America do this tenfolds. Like China
No,
do
we
something.
do shit like this, yeah.
So what I'm saying is this
But
is
it's
nothing
us.
new. Exactly. But the American government is only putting this shit out there to enrage the people to be
Oh, that's what
like,
you're
hey,
saying.
look what's going on. They're trying to attack us internally. They're trying to destroy us. So we need to go to war. Y'all better back us with this shit because they got to get us to
That's
accept
why
this
that's
shit.
why Trump was trying to ban TikTok.
Exactly.
Because the Chinese was using their information. Even like this, look, this is what I'm talking about. In Texas, a Chinese-based energy company purchased more than 130,000 acres of land near Laughlin Air Force Base, so right by our Air Force Base, and is now attempting to build a wind farm to access the U.S. power grid. To me, that's not for the way that he framed it. He's trying to make it seem like China is trying to get into the power grid. They do a
These niggas childish, bro.
mass blackout, and then they attack.
What
Then
is
they
this double oh
attack.
007? What is this double oh 007
Hey,
about to
you
do?
never know what Xi Jinping over there plotting on, but we don't know. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Brother, trust me,
They will
America is
have us
not
in the camp like the Uyghurs. We're gonna be in the camps. We're
America
gonna
is
be
not
done
bringing.
for.
If the Americans need
That's what American news. I know because a lot of Americans probably like, oh yes, we want China to. You know, what I'm saying? Maybe that'll bring us together. We need an enemy that will bring us all together. That'll be. We'll forget about COVID. We'll forget about whatever we fight about. We'll forget about Trump and Biden. We got to come together to defend our land.
hey
The
man.
idea of 007 came from somewhere. That's what they say.
I mean, I can. That's a true
It's like how I
statement.
say about Blacklist, like how Blacklist is like there's a guy that does this for the government, there's a guy that does that's probably real. We just don't know about it.
But at the end of the day, it wouldn't matter as the
Ain't nothing I can do about it. If they get over, they take us over. I can't
if
do nothing about it.
if they take over America, it's not like they're gonna put us in camps. They just we're gonna be working for Chinese people. Maybe they change the pay rate or some shit, but I don't like for the most part.
The pay rate's gonna go down
But
significantly.
they wouldn't be able, they wouldn't do that to a whole nation. They'll be smarter than that. That's not something they would want to do. At the end of the day, they know we could be bought. As American people, we're lazy. We're not gonna fight y'all. Just keep it going, like bro. That's one of like that's not our problem, bro. Like even then, how many corporations own stock in our countries from other overseas? How many corporations in they are in our shit from China and shit like over? Excuse me, I'm getting the fucking tongue twisted. That's from overseas that come into our country that have big powerhouse companies and stuff like that, bro. We intermingle all the time, like. This shit is just political shit and political
We
games.
all do it. Like we all the things that China does, we all do. I think it's easy to like justify it when it's you doing the things. Like there's a I was reading another thing that was like China has a bunch of like assets in America, like getting close to our politicians, finding out like this one guy named Eric Swalwell, I think that's his name. He was having like an affair with a Chinese spy. He didn't know it, but she got close to him. He was like on the was it Foreign Affairs Committee, I think something like that, and they got we're infiltrating, they infiltrating, everybody's infiltrating.
And let's be real, it's like two brothers fighting. These niggas are a part of the UN, and they got a whole global domination that they'd rather have than fighting each other. They more aligned than they are separate. They more about dominating their people than they are about fighting each other. They don't give a like, bro. Because like at the end of the day, why waste resources going to war? Yeah, they may try little political tactics and things like long term games that may like destabilize America or may destabilize China, but actually going to war, that would just be like little threats and little shots to throw at people, and maybe they get into a battle, but it's not about to be no full World War III and no shit like that. And even if it is, it's probably some other oil grab or some shit like that. Like it ain't really about no war, bro. Like it's about dividing some assets. Just like with the what's the shit, the Communist Party, and when they broke up all that shit, they just divided that shit up. With Russia, some shit went to Russia, some shit went to China, whatever shit. However it went, I forgot how how that got broken down. With the USR or some shit. I don't remember. I might be
Yeah,
getting some mixed up.
the
But
Soviet, the Soviet Union was talking about.
Soviet Union, I think that's what I'm talking about. But it got divided up to four different people or whatever. And that's what happens, bro. When these countries go into fights, bro, they choose a spot to go fight in that's profitable somehow, and when they come out, they end up splitting it up in a treaty or some shit like that. And that's the end of the day. That's all it is. It's a little fight for some land, and they don't mind using American and Chinese pawns to go to war, but it's a few. They'll use a few thousand people here and there to die a year, but it ain't nothing serious. It's gonna be more propaganda than a full on war. Like
Yeah.
even with Iraqis and shit, like they were fighting terrorism, but let's be real, it wasn't like they was fighting this organization of like 10,000 militarized troops, and they had camps that they had to go break down. Like how with the Germany, like they had to get through certain levels of Germany before they could really get through Germany defenses. They ain't gonna have to do all that shit. It was just shootouts here and there, like, but it wasn't like really no actual war going on. Like they were bombing shit, like fighting here and there, but like what were they really doing in Iraq and Iran and all them places? Like
Destroying the Taliban.
supposedly, but I mean, was it like it wasn't like it was it wasn't like Vietnam. It wasn't like any other real war that we've had.
I see what you're saying though. It's not like we're going. It's like us
It's more
versus
like
like
they went over there to police shit more than to have a war. You know what I mean? Like they
yeah.
were policing things, and then when they catch certain terrorists and got information, they'll handle them. But it wasn't really a war. They was over there. It was a bullying them people. Like that was like few of us died during that shit happening. But when we talk about true numbers, like the amount of people we bombed and shit like that. Come on, bro. Versus like Vietnam, like we lost a lot of motherfuckers, like a lot of soldiers at a high rate, and people still say we probably lost that war. But
Damn, where does I gotta read? Where does the article at? I want to read this.
what article?
It's Aaron Rodgers talking about because that is true. I was looking at something. I forgot what it was called. Like what social media sites choose to censor and what they choose not to censor. It's like how do you ban like a person like Donald Trump, but like the Taliban still has a Twitter page, or like these actual like things. They
Really?
have Twitter pages, and they may have taken it down since about him at the time that he was banned from Twitter. Like these things still had social media pages where they was like, even though it was like a general from another cover where he was from, he was like "Death to America" or some shit, but he like was still on Twitter and like, why is he still on Twitter? But like he banned. Like Louis Farrakhan got banned from Twitter. Like all these American leaders that maybe say something that everybody don't agree with, they get banned. But foreign people who say wild shit, they're allowed to stay on the platform. I don't know where this article is. Maybe it's not on there. But he's just talking about censorship and things of that nature, which I was reading and it looked pretty interesting, but I can't. Oh, here it is. He just said when in the course of human history has the side that's doing the censoring and trying to shut people up and make them show papers and marginalize a part of the community ever been the correct side? The quarterback told the outlet. We're censoring dissenting opinions? Question mark. What are we trying to do? Save people from being able to determine the validity on their own, or to listen and to think about things and come to their own conclusion. Freedom of speech is dangerous now if it doesn't align with the mainstream narrative. That I think first and foremost what I want people to understand and what people should understand is that there's censorship in this country going on right now. Are they censoring terrorists or pedophiles, criminals who have Twitter profiles? No. They're censoring people, and they're shadow banning people who have dissenting opinions about vaccines. Why is that? Is that because Pfizer cleared $33 billion last year? And
Talk
Big
your
Pharma.
shit.
Aaron Rodgers going he said, and Big Pharma has more lobbyists in Washington than senators and representatives combined. Why is the reason? Either way, if you want to be an open-minded person, you should hear both sides, which is why I listen to people like Dr. Robert Malone, Dr. Peter McCullough. I have people on the other side as well. I read stuff on the vaccine hesitancy side, and I read stuff on the vaccine are the greatest thing in the world side. He added that it didn't make sense to him to censor everyone who questions the so-called mainstream narrative. Hey.
Talk your shit.
I mean, it's like I feel like people should just be more open-minded, right? They should just really look at both sides. Like, even like the conversation I had, I know we're on Facebook, so I'm trying to be a little, you know what I'm saying, but the conversation we had at my baby shop, when they was telling me, hey, you should get this and that, I'm not like against it, so I'm not like a thing where I just haven't got it, whatever. But when I was hearing certain things, it was like, if you get it, you can't get it, and you can't spread it. I'm like, that's not, I didn't say it, I'm just letting people talk, but it's like, that's not true. I don't know where you heard that, but that's not true. So it's like you just gotta look at everything. He said Pfizer made all that money. Pfizer made $33 billion.
The problem with it is social media and the platforms, because at the end of the day, one side has an opinion and then the other side has an opinion. But what social media and these platforms are doing is validating one side and saying you're right, and the other side you're absolutely wrong, and nothing you're saying can be right, and we're going to cancel you. That's the dangers in that. So for me, it's like, why don't platforms and companies have to abide by the Constitution? Like, I know they're a corporation, but at the end of the day, there are people running a corporation. So the people are disguising themselves as a corporation so they don't have to abide by the Constitution, even though they're still people. I don't get it. I get they're a corporation, but they're still people inside the corporation. So that means they're not abiding by the Constitution. So I don't understand how is this like guys, how are they able to hide behind the guise of a corporation and able to do these different things? I think they should be held even to a higher standard than us when it comes to upholding the constitutional rights. Like, that's just,
and also the way they do it in terms of service, as far as like what is actually medical, like what is actual medical misinformation, or what is actual just conversation. What's just conversation?
Why censor medical misinformation? Like, that's not your job. Your job is just to present correct information. Leave that up to people to find out their information. Do better jobs of marketing the right information. That's all you can do. But why discredit or try to censor someone else?
Yeah, but I'm saying as far as like even thinking of hate speech.
It is so your misinformation on medical stuff. What if I'm a herbalist or a natural immunity type of person that try to practice natural medicine? To you, what I'm saying is misinformation. But what I'm saying is complete facts. Vice versa, your shit is misinformation and my shit. So, like, that's why I'm like, when you talk about misinformation, like, the
misinformation is determined by whoever has the power.
Yeah, and that's just not fair.
That's pretty much how it goes. Right. And even like when you think about like hate speech, right? When you think about people getting banned for hate speech, like I saw a guy, he said, what did he say? It was like Jeopardy winner, most winning Jeopardy winner is a woman or something like that. It was like a trans woman. And he was like, he was pretty much something like, so biological male wins most women Jeopardy, whatever the hell. It was like, and they banned him for that. It's like, I don't think that's not hate speech. It's like, what, I mean, will a person who's trans not like it? No, but it's like, even when it comes to race, like if people say shit about race, like just combat those things with whatever you want to combat it with. I don't think people should be banned for like ideas and discussions and whatever. Because like I said in the beginning, if you feel that your side, you feel whatever you believe is so strong, you should be able to combat whatever side's going against you with your own actual ideas, your own actual information, and you'll be all right.
Let the people decide.
I think they're just afraid of people with large platforms that have influence over people. That's what they're scared of. That's why they're trying to censor guys like Joe Rogan.
So I talked about this on the channel. My last video I just made with Fresh and Fit. It's like they try to denounce the fan base to discredit the person because their fan base basically shit validate what they're saying in their opinions because they wouldn't have a fan base if they didn't have good opinions and stuff like that. So a lot of times they'll attack the fan base, call them dumb, or for me, I think or just think they can't think for themselves. They're not open-minded thinkers, or like they're brainwashed to everything that Joe Rogan say. I believe. Like I've been watching Joe Rogan all my life. For a good portion of my life. There's a lot of shit Joe Rogan say I don't believe or listen or agree with, but. Yeah. There's a lot of shit that I do agree with, but I'm able to differentiate. I can think for myself. So even if a person has a big fan base, if they have a big fan base, that probably mean they're doing something right to a certain extent, bro. And I'm pretty sure that all those people are not idiots, bro.
But that's what they're trying to make it seem like me. I can listen to anybody. I can say I listen to Joe Rogan, listen to somebody. And then Joe Rogan is. The thing that being said on Joe Rogan, like some certain clips go viral when he's talking, but like I watched an interview today. I listened to it when I was at Walmart today. And he was talking to a guy who does studies on social media, censorship, and big tech surveillance of people, right? He was saying pretty much like you shouldn't use Google because every time you post on Google, they're uploading your data constantly. It's like, why do you think, this is what he said pretty much, why do you think your phone dies so fast and you're not using it? He said, because every hour, the phone is uploading 12 megabytes of data on you. That's why you always get the targeted ads, or that's why when you're talking about something, it somehow pops up on your phone. Like, they're listening to you, they know what's going on. That's what it is. You can't really dispute that. But Joe Rogan, when he would say these things, Joe Rogan would be like, yes, I agree. He'd be like, can you elaborate more on that? Can you explain? Like, well, he's not like sitting there letting people just say whatever the fuck they want. And he's like, you have this idea, you put like a vague idea out. Now, go into detail more about that topic or that idea of why you really believe it. And then they'll do that. And then that's how it goes.
They just tried to cancel him again with he was like, I don't believe that you get this thing more if you don't have COVID or something like this.
Myocarditis.
Yeah, he said, I don't believe. He said that twice, and then he said, let's look that up. He never said you're wrong. I know for a fact. Like you can't. There's no way you could be right. And he said, let's look it up, and then they looked it up, and he gave a counter opinion because he's like, well, this don't just because we look it up here don't mean that this completely right. But he showed discernment and at least saying that maybe I'm not right. Let's look it up. And I'm pretty sure he looked it up some more. Or I'm pretty sure he already looked this shit up and had resources to back him. Yeah. So this one side
because he did on Twitter. He went on Twitter and said, well, he posted this is the article where I got my information from. Exactly. This guy got his information from this article. Y'all trying to clown me. But the thing about that is, and the reason why they thought that the media, whoever was pushing it, thought it was like a owning of Joe Rogan. It just showed me more why he's more trustworthy than you people, because like I said, Rachel Maddow was on her show in the beginning of the vaccine coming out telling people, you get this, you won't get it, you won't spread it, you won't do this. I've never seen her come back on her show and be like, hey guys, I was wrong about that. And Joe Rogan at plenty of times got back on his show and said, hey, that thing I said last episode about yada, 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 oh, I was wrong about that. I saw this here. That's my bad. I don't ever hear them. Kyle Rittenhouse, they come on white supremacists. They say he killed black people. I've never seen them come on and say, you know what? We got that one wrong. No, they just keep it pushing on to the next goddamn whatever's next. Like, they'll never go back and like, you know what? We kind of got that one wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why when you see the stats of Joe Rogan per episode, 11 million listeners, and then you see everybody else, like the next one after him is Tucker Carlson at 2.9. and then it's all Fox News, and then it's I think Rachel Maddow MSNBC. She has like 2 million. When it falls off to CNN at like 0.8 thousand, I don't even know what show it is. It isn't Don Lemon. It isn't Chris Cuomo. They're like they're big name people. I think it's just like a someone that probably on midday that you see at the doctor's office, so people are just there watching it.
Yeah,
it's like
someone that actually has value and
yeah,
engaging and
Cuomo or Anderson Cooper. It's not one of those people. It's just like a show that a random person they just plugged in is the host.
And even in that type of show, you like you said, a random person can get plugged in. Like that's the formulaic show.
It's not like Sean Hannity. It's not like Rachel Maddow. It's not like Tucker Carlson.
You don't have to form opinions and be a well thought out person. You just got to read a script, basically.
Yeah. So you just don't have to, the show isn't even named after you. It's just like CNN primetime or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. Yeah. And that's why people look at it a little crazy. That's like with me, like even me. I said I talked a whole bunch of shit about Tory Lanez. If it comes out, I don't because I don't have no skin in the game. I'm not like tied to it. This is what I thought when I initially saw it. This is how I critically thought and put certain pieces together. Like my main thing is always like there's only 3 people in the car. Like, why would Tory Lanez? Like, that's what one thing I can't get out of my mind is why would he allow himself to take it that far if somebody else in the car shot it? But the trial is. I thought the trial was supposed to have been happening on the 13th, but I don't know what happened with that. I never heard anything about it on the 13th.
I looked up. I looked at up the 15th. I looked everything up. It was one article the day before the 13th that came out. Nothing about a postponement.
It must have been. I see nothing about it.
That shit was weird to me. Not they postponed this shit to later. The trial happened and just no one like it wasn't a single article about that shit. I found that very weird.
So we'll see whenever that actually happens.
When I be saying shit be Hollywood, that'd be examples of that shit. Because that don't happen in any other fucking time. Like what? We didn't get nothing about it. That's weird. And when everybody was talking about it literally a month before that, like January 13th.
I wonder if they're trying to get him to take another plea deal. Like, Tory, we got some evidence on you. Do you want to risk 22 years in prison? Or do you just want to get like 3 years of probation? What do you want to do? Like, because honestly, if you're Tory Lanez, do you? Because at this time, it seems like he's not really canceled. Like, obviously, the Spotify's and they don't promote him. But as far as fan base and people talking about him, it doesn't seem like it's really too much tainted his career. So do you take that chance of 22 years in prison? Or would you be like, you know what?
No, I'm not. I'm not taking. In my eyes, I'm not taking a chance because I know the fuck I did.
No, even if you didn't do it, but they have like some certain little thing. Maybe they got a witness here, a witness there. So you would sit there and go on trial.
Yo, witness lying because I know I ain't do it.
Well, but that don't really work in court. That don't work in court. Plenty of people say that, but like,
plenty of people don't have as good as lawyers I got either. I'm good. I'm not folding on that. Cause if I take that 3 years, that narrative start to change on I didn't do it. When you take a plea deal, that's an admission of guilt, and a lot of people won't let you live that shit down, whether they knew you did it or not. So I'm not taking that risk.
So you think like now? So you think now he has support because people believe he didn't do it, and you think as soon as he takes a plea deal, those people will then turn on him too?
Not everyone, but the right people in the right rooms will keep it justified. To even though, like, say, Spotify may know or may have some industry inside information that he didn't do it, they're gonna still censor him because he took the plea deal. They still can justify censoring him. Anybody, any news outlets can justify slandering him because he didn't really get off.
Yeah,
he took a plea deal. So if anything else come up, they're gonna allude back to that possibly still being a thing, and because he took a plea deal, they can't say he was innocent, even though they know he was fucking innocent. Because just like TMZ, most of them outlets have that inside information. Most of just how all these rappers and shit found out, these industry people found out. Just like how a YouTuber can investigate their ass off and figure these things out. These niggas be knowing this shit. They just gotta let the process go. But they be knowing. So nah, I wouldn't take that plea deal. Now if I'm a regular ass nigga ain't got no money, yeah, take the plea deal. But a nigga that got that type of lawyers, no sir. I got too many resources. I know I'm gonna win this. Especially I know I ain't do it. Mm-mm.
All
Yeah.
right.
I got a
It's
topic.
still got to be scary though, because you are still like at the whim of the jury. At the end of the day, it's like 22 years in prison or like a 2 years probation. Like,
Well, I
it's
mean,
because what if they just so happen to be like he's guilty, and now Tory goes to prison for 22 years? Like, damn.
if he's guilty and he's really guilty, then shit he can't do. But and he should have took the plea deal. If he's really is guilty, then your dumbass should take the plea deal. But if he's not guilty, if he had to sit in the jail for 3 years anyways for the plea deal, what's the appeal process gonna be up to a year to 3 years anyway? So regardless, you're gonna have to sit that time out. So I'd rather sit it out as possibly being an innocent man and dying on that ledge than taking the 22 years, because you still get the appeal and you still got good money and good lawyers. And the appeal process is different than the jury. I don't think they do a jury with the appeal process. And if they find anything that was wrong, investigation or with the investigation with money, or I mean not money, evidence being like lost or tampered with, that'll easily go to your way and that should get appealed. So yeah,
Yeah.
the appeal process I think a little bit better. So yeah,
Yeah.
nah, I'm not. I fuck it, I take it because like I said, 3 years anyways.
What's probation though? You don't got to go to jail. You got to be
Oh,
like
you
on
said 3 years of
probation.
probation?
Yeah, that's a 3 years probation.
Nah,
You
that's
still be out and about, do your thing.
yeah. I can see that. It'll be a tempting. That'd be tempting. That'd be tempting. But
Because you never really know how it's going to go. Like, I also, we don't really know what evidence they actually have and don't have. So it's like,
well, his lawyer would know that.
well, yeah, she knows. Yeah, she knows. That's what I'm saying. Like, but he might be like, I think we're good enough to go take it. She might
Oh,
be
I
like,
see what you're saying. So we don't know from the outside looking in. We
yeah,
don't know.
I don't know what evidence. So they may have rock solid shit that's proving his innocence. So they might like, fuck it, go to trial. But it might also be like a shaky story here that could possibly, trial is theater. You got to be able to go in there and play it up or play it down. And it's like your life, like is like you don't really want to play theater with
Game.
your
You're playing
life.
the game in court.
I know, but as a person, I would want to play my life as a game. Like I don't want to, leave it up to the jury or have a bombshell statement drop or something mid trial happen, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But
We were
we'll
talking
see.
about admitting when we were wrong and we ended up getting on the Tory lanes.
Yeah,
And
but
man,
even now, even there's a new story that came out of that, right? So you don't know any of these people because I don't really know these people. I just seen there was a story that was going around on social media. So like the end of last year, maybe like November, October, right? There was this girl who's a rapper. Everybody says they're a rapper. Her name was like FT Bay, and she claimed that a guy who signed to Lil Durk, or he's like a part of his crew, OTF, Doobie Low, had sexually assaulted her son because her son told her that he did. She filmed it. Some parts looked a little bit coaching, but that's how it was. She accused him. The son said that it was him, so everybody was on him about it, right? She was like, "Take a lie detector test. Do this, do that." So finally, now he took the lie detector test, and he passed. So she put out a statement and said, "I'm sorry. I didn't know my son lied. He told the truth." Now she put out this whole thing. Then I feel like she started getting a lot of backlash from that. Like, they lied on this man that I could ruin his life. Now she's like, nah, I was pressured into making that video. I'm still going to try to go through with justice for my son. It's like, at that point, you were unreliable. Because if I'm his lawyer, I'm like, look, she made a video. She posted on social media. She said her son lied, but now that she got backlash, now she's trying to rehash it. Like, no, I don't care if he passed a lie detector test. Because the whole thing was pass a lie detector test and,
she
do it
probably
like that.
she ain't gonna go through court. She just probably huffing and puffing for social.
Yeah. All that shit crazy. Like, chill, girl.
That shit crazy.
But
Very
yeah.
crazy. I had a topic. We kind of was talking about a little bit earlier when you talk about like they need room to grow up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been a poignant perspective that's been popping up on me recently, as far as like how there's like right now, bro. Like we're in because like what you're reading and stuff like that. Like, bro, we're in the perfect fucking time to just keep cultivating our mind, keep building ourselves. Because, like, bro, let's be real. When you look at the average king, it's not really no young kings, and if they're young, they really don't last long. They get ate up by politics and wars.
Yeah.
Young kings either don't last long or they just don't happen. Even for president, you gotta be a certain age. Like, and I was realizing, like, bro, most men that are successful really don't be making it to like 55. Like, let's think about like a nigga like Nick Saban. he hella successful now, but like he didn't get successful to like 50s. Like that man
Yeah.
old as hell. Like, and it's not like I'm not trying to say it in a bad way. It's just saying like, bro, we have so much life to live, and like, no, like wherever you look at a job that's prestigious, if whoever's holding it, bro, they usually some like they some level of they mature and got like age on them in a sense, and it's just something I had realized. I was like, this shit, it's kind of cool to see because it's like it slowed me down in the mindset. Like, bro, I'm only 20. Like when I'm 50, I can't even imagine how far I'll be in life because like how much I just keep developing and how where I like how where I'm heading now. But like
Yeah.
when you look at a Nick Saban, when you look at the coaches around anywhere, NFL, NBA, when you look at pastors, when you look at the announcers on the sideline, like roles that's like held and like covenant, and it ain't many roles or military positions or like high offers of military positions. These dudes don't be getting in that role to about 50,
Yeah.
and even then it's like now they built their legacy at their later years, and it's like that shit. Like to me, it's
I
cool
think
because
as
it's
we
like
look at time, we look at time as like, oh, if you're 50, you damn near dead. But a lot of times that's not true. Like, cause you got to think about it like this. Like, you thinking whatever career you in right now, you making money. Like when you're 50 years old, you got the potential to still live to like 80. So you got that's 30. Like, think about it. We're about to be 30, and we're not even 30 yet. We still have 3 more years. So think about all that time to get to this point. 30 years from now, we'll be 50 something. Then I think possibly you live to be 87. That's another 30. Like, there's so much time. I think we're thrown into life thinking that by 25 I got to be this, by 30 I got to be this, by 35, and if I'm not this, that, I'm unsuccessful. That's like when you see people post like this person didn't become like a billionaire until 50, or this person didn't become something until he's 45. Like you'll see a guy like Warren. Well, no, I think Warren Buffett's been rich for a long time. But you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, they're more
it's like a meme I see. It's like a meme I see. It's like why in movies do we always? Why are the vampires always rich? And they're like, if you live for 1,000 years and you're broke, like you should just go ahead and end your life. Like you got too much time to accumulate wealth to not be in a good spot by the time you're 1,000 years old. Like
and it's the wealth, but the wisdom as well. Because not
yeah,
on, like you to be in those positions of a Nick Saban, you've had to been through so many different games and so many different experiences to be able to have these spur of the moment reactions that you know how to command shit and be a real leader. And it's like it's nothing wrong with trying to be a leader nowadays, but like bro, don't get so caught up in that. Just keep working and developing yourself because it's like I said, like think about them announcers that's be on the sideline. They've been doing it for 20, 30 years. It's like they be so entertaining, and to imagine yourself to be like like think if you never wanted to be an announcer, but think of you what you had to do to go do that. And like be in the moment, be play by play, break down shit, be entertained. It's like, damn, that's a lot to do. But this person has built that communication skills, like a Joe Rogan. They've built these communication skills by doing this shit through repetition. And like it's more than the 10,000 reps by this point. Like they
yeah,
killing the reps. And it's like it's just comforting to me. Cause these niggas will write a legacy for themselves that they do that some of the greatest men have done some of the greatest things in the world at old ages, and it's like that's literally typical.
yeah,
That's literally how things are normally ran. And I mean, I think that's like probably the last of real culture that we have. And sometimes we kind of get caught up in it as young people, like man, let's get these old people out of here, especially with politics. But in other places, that shit. I think that's some of the last traditions that we have where you see that people with real wisdom should be really holding these spots until you earn it as a young man. And
yeah,
think about a king, bro. Like all the different shit you got to understand economics, war, um, shit, cultivation. Like when back in the day, is them like having to make sure your land is good. Like you got to understand that type of thing. Like so many things a king would have to understand that they learned through time, and it's like you wouldn't be able like if you was to be put in that position now, you probably wouldn't do good, and then you beat yourself up and all this shit because you're just not ready for it. But as time go on, you learn different sayings. As I think I just seen one of the actors was talking about it. He was like, "This anger shall pass." this sadness should pass. It's like this is something that you learn as you grow as a man, like about managing your emotions, managing your feelings. As a young man, getting upset, being aggressive, that's how we are, full of testosterone, ready to act, not ready to think.
Yeah.
Like as you get older, you come out of that and you move so much different. And it's like, yeah, I'm happy to keep seeing my development and my progression. And yeah, man, if you feeling down about yourself and where you at now, bro, and you shit, even if you 40, my nigga, like I said, bro, some of these coaches don't be 50 or 60 till they get this role. My nigga, how old is Joe Biden? He
Bro,
been
I was literally just looking at Joe Biden. I was like, Joe Biden has been in the Senate since he was. What did he get elected first?
like he been in
19. He been in the Senate since 1972. He just became the president. Like it took him, and he tried to be president before. It wasn't the first time he tried to become president. You know.
yeah. So it's just something that you have to be.
But also,
You
you got
have
to think you got to, but you got to also kind of be on that path to what you want to do too. Like it ain't gonna really just like you ain't just gonna click at 40 and be whatever. You got to kind of be working at the right. Like Nick Saban don't just become Alabama coach. He had to be a wide receivers coach. He had to be a running back coach. He had whatever he was coaching. Then become a special teams coordinator. Then become an offensive coordinator. Then he becomes the Nick
yeah,
Saban that we know. And I was watching this one guy because I've been watching the Hard Knock shit, right? With the Colts. He's a branch off of Nick Saban's tree. He was an intern with the Patriots. Then he became like I don't know wide receivers coach, and now he's a special teams coordinator for the Colts, and he does a great job. I wouldn't be surprised in 2 3 years if he ends up getting a head coaching. Like you gotta it's gonna take you a while. It's like with companies like when you see these guys become CEOs of like McDonald's or whatever. Typically, you'll look at him like, oh, he's been working for this company for 20, 30, however many years. Like that's kind of how shit got accrued. That's why like even our show, even when I do mine by myself, I don't look at it as like I would like for it to blow up quickly, but it might not go till we hit 30, 32. We might not look, oh, y'all look young. Y'all know what y'all talking about. When you hit 30, it might kind of, you like a guy like Tim Pool. Tim Pool said he been doing this journalism thing forever. He's 36 now. He just recently blew up in the last, 2, 3 years.
no cap. If we did this every week till we was 40, ain't no way in hell we ain't gonna pop.
We should have never been doing it if we don't pop out in. It was like, all right, right?
No, I'm dead ass though. Like, bro, it happens though. It happens.
Yeah.
People like we just keep doing it because it's fun. We matriculate 100 more people that come in. Like you'll see a small growth.
The bricks
Like
were good.
Yeah, you ain't gonna like you gonna do the shit for 40 years and then 30 years and that shit don't grow. Somebody gonna watch your shit. Somebody gonna watch it. You're just gonna be friends with niggas at that point.
Yeah. I know your whole life. You done got married, you done had kids. I know everything about you.
Yeah, I would say 30 definitely. It's a good churn, but even then, it's like, bro, you still got so much growth, bro. So much growth, man. It's really crazy, man.
Like even when you see these things like these people, I can't pull up examples, but like you'll see, it was like an author, some author, right? He was like down and out, life was average or boring, whatever it was. I don't know if it was boring, but whatever he was talking about. He didn't write his first book till he was like 40, and now he was like into being the highest selling author of all time. So sometimes you just gotta, like he said, sometimes you might be going down the wrong path, don't even know it. And once you get there, you figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you will hope that you come up with a plan and you can stick to a field. But the biggest thing is just being optimistic and keep like being positive and trying to grow. But when you start getting down on yourself and you 30, shit 40 or whatever, I mean, it's a good chance that you ain't gonna have an outlook and perspectives to want to grow and keep trying to find shit. I think that's the biggest problem because even then it's like you know how you talk about the people that's been in the field for like 20, 30 years. And there's also the examples of motherfuckers work from one thing to another to another to another, and then they finally found something that stick. And when they look back in life, it's like I worked at all those jobs. I learned a bunch of little different things at each job, and I can see how it made me kind of how I am today. But I never would have thought, like if that happens too. You just keep working on yourself. You do shit that you like. and shit happens. You come up with ideas like
See, look at this one. But this thinking about the show also goes with doing the craft that you eventually want to get into. So even a guy as famous Samuel L. Jackson has been a Hollywood star for years now, but he had only bit parts before landing his award-winning role at the age of 43 in 1991. Took him till he was 43 to get like a big role. The guy who owned Walmart, uh, 44. Henry Ford, 45. The guy who Ford. Everybody knows Ford. 45 when he found some. I don't know. This is people who became successful after 40. Rodney Dangerfield is a legendary comedian, but he didn't catch a break until he made a hit appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show at age 46. He just probably was grinding all the way. He got a chance, an opportunity at 46. He took advantage, and then became Rodney Dangerfield. So, what was this? Julia Child worked in advertising and media before writing her first cookbook when she was 50, launching her career as a celebrity chef in 1961.
I mean, marketing. She learned marketing, and then she used that to create something that she wanted, and it blew up because she knew how to market shit. So it's like certain things you could do, and then you do something that it may have correlate or help you correlate with building a job, but you never know. Like sometimes you could be in a role for or being an actor for 20, 30 years, or sometimes you could be doing something completely different, like a salesman. You could be a great salesman, then all of a sudden you go into something else. It's like, well, yeah, that salesman shit gonna translate to anything you do. But it
So
just
even this guy, even though he stole McDonald's from them, but Ray Kroc spent his career as a milkshake device salesman before buying McDonald's at age 52 in 1954. And now McDonald's is whatever McDonald's is now.
yeah, he was doing something, and it led to some more shit because the milkshake business led him to be able to invest and work with people in McDonald's, and then he led to him being able to steal. So yeah, I mean you got to work on yourself. You got to do the best you can with what you got, and trust that that's gonna eventually open doors if you just keep knocking at it. That's crazy.
Harry Bernstein spent a long life writing in obscurity, but finally achieved fame at age 96 for his 2007 memoir, The Invisible Wall, a love story that broke barriers. He just kept on writing. He just kept on grinding.
Hey God, don't do me like that.
Don't do me like
Don't do me like
that.
that, God. Please don't, God.
Don't do it when I'm at the end of my
Please,
rope.
God.
Yeah, don't do it when I'm at the end of my rope. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm gonna enjoy it, but damn, don't do me like that, God.
Yeah, don't do me like that. Like I take fit 45. You know what I'm saying? I can do that, but not
Because the
96.
thing is like these people end up being successful with their own things and little niches, but they explode at 45. They explode at 50. These people were successful. They weren't just
Yeah.
scratching their ass. They was trying shit. And I'm
No,
pretty
you got to
sure
be working towards something at least. So like being going in a positive direction.
like the milkshake got him going, but I'm pretty sure he had many other ideas that may have failed or didn't work, but he was trying shit. The shit
Yeah.
it just took till 50 for something to hit. But that's the thing, bro. If you keep shooting, bro, something gonna hit. Whether you dealing with stocks, whether you dealing with the lotto, whether you not necessarily lotto gambling, I should say, because the odds are a lot higher, whether it's little lotto tickets or actually casinos. But you're gonna win eventually.
Yeah.
That's just the odds of life. They're just playing the odds of life. And I mean, shit. That, bro. You just keep trying. You just keep trying.
Ariana Huffington founded her namesake news publication, The Huffington Post, at age 55. While she was worked as a political commentator and writer for her early career, the success of her digital media publication made her a household name. HuffPost later sold for $315 million.
Jeez.
But she was a political commentator and she was a writer, but she opened up her own shit at 55. Super successful.
And that's the thing too. Sometimes we work in certain places or deal with certain industries because it helps us understand how to formulate and run a business as well. Working in a restaurant, I mean, whether I was a server or the manager, that should help me understand business a lot clearer.
Yeah.
In general, and what you would want to do or what you wouldn't want to do. When you work at a job all the time, depending on who you are, what your goals is, but I'm pretty sure you can tell what you would want, how you want to be treated, or how you would treat yourself better at a job.
Yeah.
Now, so if you was thinking about your own business, okay, how would I operate this business better? And then you take those certain things that you do, play those tricks, because I do that everywhere I go. How can I make this better? What's the problem with this place? Like, and see in my mind or or shit. Sometimes do a little research or just pay attention enough. You can see like, okay, maybe I was right about that, and
Yeah.
that shit can translate to later on success and learning how to run shit your own way. So yeah, life is funny, life is tricky, but like I said, how them odds work, how them odds play out, bro. You gonna eventually hit, bro. That's just life, bro.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go somewhere.
Me too.
2 hours in. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure to subscribe. Wednesday there'll be another slaughter.
A
Another
slaughter is
slaughter.
disrespectful. Wait,
Another
Decal said I
slaughter.
slaughtered you, nigga.
No, Decal said 11-9. Same way.
You wanted to say 11-8. I mean
Yeah.
10-8 or whatever the fuck the shit was.
12 to
12 to
8.
8. 12 to 8. Excuse me, I can't count.
But another slaughter. Usher versus Chris Brown. We'll be doing that on Wednesday. Stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes. Just search up Absolutely Unsure. You'll find it on any podcast platform. All we got, man. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. It's your boy D. Fran.
Boy, be nearly.